restorative. So we're going to do some conventional stretching, but what I really want to focus on, boldface underline, is decompression of the rib cage and the spine. We focused on that a little bit last class. We're going to focus on that a lot in this class. So, and there's a lot of isometric elements. In order to do this, my cueing is important, and also staying organized in these pretty simple positions is of the utmost importance. Otherwise, you may not feel much going on in these positions. So, the first thing I want to do, everybody, is I want to get laying on our backs on our mats. Just flat on our backs in whatever way feels comfortable to you. Excellent. And so a big aspect of this class is paying attention to how your body is responding to lying on the floor on this flat, hard surface. So I'm going to give you a few minutes, a couple minutes, to really just focus on where in your body not only feels tight, but where you feel might be resisting against the floor. A sort of soreness, maybe, where you might be noticing compression in the back. Just completely lying passive. Attempting to surrender all of your mass into the ground. Typically, where you might feel compression or resistance against the floor would be in the spine. For some, in the thoracic spine, that's the middle back. For some, it might be in the neck. Some might feel some pinching in the shoulders or at the sacrum. All we're doing is noticing. And then from there, we're just going to work to take some deep breaths into those spaces. So this is directed breath. This isn't just breath through the belly. It's breath through the side of the body or breath directed to the back of the body. So we're trying to fill the entire rib cage up as well as the belly when we take an in-breath. And then when we take an out-breath, we try to release and relax not only the breath, but the tissues of the body. So we inhale and expand, and we exhale and we release. We inhale and we expand in all directions. And then we exhale and we release. And the reason why this is so important is when we get into these certain spinal stretching positions, the breath is the most important tool for reclaiming the space that compression in the body might have taken. So breath is a tool to help us stretch today. Let's bring our arms out to our sides about shoulder height. So palms are facing the ceiling. Can you open the feet about shoulder width, or maybe even wider? So we're opening the feet and our body is in this kind of star shape. The feet are wide, the arms are out to the side, and what I just want you to focus on is reaching the heels and the palms away from the body. So we're using the musculature, the legs and the arms, to stretch the hands and the feet away from the body as much as you can. And when you do this, you're going to notice that this feels a lot like a morning stretch, like when you first wake up and you yawn and you reach This is what we're doing. We're engaging our muscles to lengthen the fascia in the body. Now you're going to take that deep breath in through the rib cage, through the belly and through the back, and then you're going to exhale, release the breath and relax the tissue. Good. Bring the hands overhead now. Same thing. We have this deep morning stretch, stretching through our fingers, stretching through our heels. So the feet and the hands are stretching away from each other, stretching away from the body. Keep the shoulders connected to the body. Keep breathing deeply as you take this deep, active, isometric morning stretch. We're calling this star stretch, even though our hands are overhead. 2 more deep breaths here, fully extending through this. This should feel like work. We're energizing the body completely. 1 more breath. Release it, maybe bend the knees and windshield wiper left to right. We're going to go back to that position. Now, everybody identify your right hand and identify your left foot. Let's just reach those away from each other. And it's okay if your left ribs pop up, but you're reaching through your right palm of your hand and your left heel like a morning stretch. Maybe since you're muted, you can even breathe in deeply and go, ah, ah, and keep stretching through that. And what you might notice is you might feel a stretch in the belly of the forearm if you're stretching through the palm. But this is really active here. Otherwise, you're going to be wondering what you're doing on the floor. Good. Keep breathing deeply. We're preparing the body for this deep fascial stretching. Okay, so now we're going to go contralateral, hands on the other side. So you were reaching right hand, left foot. Now we're reaching left hand, right foot as much as you can, energizing on the diagonal. So your left hand and your right foot are reaching away from each other on the diagonal as much as you can, and the breath is enhancing this action in the body. On the inhale, you expand the ribs. On the exhale, you work on just inching the hand and the foot away from each other gently. Mom, what's up?
Is my right knee bent?
I would recommend keeping both legs straight unless you got some gathering in the low back, which I thought was going on with you, so I just let it live. Okay, cool.
No,
Awesome.
I breathe through it. Okay.
Yeah, just keep everything straight.
Yeah.
It's that reach through the body. Good, mama. Yeah. Okay, a couple more deep breaths here. Beautiful. Shake it all off. So this is a global active elongation through the body on the diagonal. Shake it all off. Don't forget the head. Shake the head no on the ground there. Very nice, everybody. Boy, talk about toning work too, because we're elongating, right? But we're working on that isometric so that we can grab a hold of the fascia in the body. We're going to do Bananasana, okay? And so for Bananasana, your feet can be together or about hip width apart is where they're naturally going to go. You're going to be lying on your back, right, with your hands over your head. I'm going to reach, this is my right hand. I'm going to reach my right hand away from my right foot. And I'm going to reach my right foot away from my right hand. My body is going to go into a lateral bend on the floor. So I'll demonstrate this way so you can see now. I'm reaching this foot away. I'm reaching this hand away, And what's going to happen here is my ribs are going to spread. I'm going to breathe into my ribs, inhale, and then on the exhale, I'm going to continue reaching my right foot away from my right hand. I call it Varanasana, like a banana. Okay? So this is a right side body opener, and this is also curvature in the spine, lateral. So let's get our bodies organized together. Feet hip width apart is good. We're going to get our arms overhead. Energize the legs and the arms. The legs and the arms are not relaxed here. Now they're actually engaged strong and straight. Right hand reaches away from right foot reaches like a morning stretch away from right hand. You close the left side of your body and you spread and open the right side of your body. Your right hand might go over your head like this if you reach and open your right side as you lie on the floor. The reaching of the right heel away from the right hand is an energetic cue. Some people may not get a visible result from doing it. Some people will. And then you're breathing into this side. We'll take 2 or 3 more breaths here. And what you give here is what you get for these fascial stretches. Imagine that your ribs are spreading and opening, because the ribs can compress as the spine will, especially from sitting, which none of us do here. Inhale, and then exhale and come back to center. And when you come back to center, take that moment to notice how that stretched side feels versus that unstretched side. Does it feel a little bit longer? Does it feel a little more open in the ribs when you're breathing deeply still? Does it feel like you can breathe into that side a little better? Okay, so we're going to boogie on the, thank you, Allison, for confirming. That's awesome. I was just asking so you could scan. So we're going to go left side now. Left arm is, well, both arms are overhead. We're making an I shape with our bodies. And now for this, the left side of our body is opening and the right side of our body is closing. So we're starting in an I shape and then we make ourselves into the shape of a banana. While we're in that shape, we want to reach our left hand away from our left heel, and we want to reach our left heel bone away from our left hand. And then finally, when you feel like you found your personal end range in the body, then you bring in that breath into that open space, which is our left rib cage here. You might feel it in your left low back also, if you have a tight low back. One more deep breath, come back to center. I'm going to give you one more option. We're going to do this one more time on each side, okay? I'm going to enhance things for you. We all have a strap. We're going to go back to the right side. I'm going to demonstrate right now standing, but you're imagining that the floor is behind me, like I'm lying on my back. I have my strap shoulder width. I'm holding on to it shoulder width. Can everybody see that? Yeah. About shoulder width for me. I'm going to bring my hands overhead. I'm lying on my back and I'm crossing my right leg over my left leg. And then I'm going to use the strap with my left hand here. I'm going to pull on that strap to open my side body a little bit more as I'm on the floor. And my crossed legs are going to open my hips. So let me demonstrate from the floor. I'm going to move as far back as I can. My right leg here is crossed over my left. I'm holding the strap overhead and I'm using my left hand to pull the strap and help open my ribs a little bit more. Bonus points if you could take your head with your arms. Once you're at your end range and you're feeling a really nice stretch on the side of your body, breathe into that space deeply. Keeping an eye on everyone. Everyone looks good. Hey, mama, if you can try energizing your legs, like straighten them out, flex your feet and reach, keep them crossed, sorry. But what I mean is straighten them out at the knees. Yep, and it's your right leg over your left, mom. Yeah, and then you're really energizing your leg straight, reaching your heel away from you, and that will deepen it. Yeah. That might help open up the hip a little bit more potentially. Good. Y'all look great. All right, we're going to switch sides. So come to neutral. Good. And recross your legs, your left leg over your right leg. Good. We're going to put energy in the legs. We're going to put energy in the arms. And then we're going to begin that oppositional reach. So even though the legs are crossed, you're still reaching your left foot away from your left hand, away from left foot. But we have the added benefit of the right hand pulling the left hand to help enhance the opening in the left ribs. That was a dense sentence. Breathe into those now open spaces in the left rib cage. And if you're ever like, how am I stretching? Just remember what a morning stretch is. You're just reaching through your body here. Good. 2 deep, concerted breaths. And release to center neutral, uncross the legs. We'll take a quick moment to just windshield wiper the knees. Fantastic. Hey, Yaya, Mama Gallo, did that start to make sense? Mom Gallo, did that? Yeah? Okay, cool. Awesome. Everybody, did that make sense? We're opening the ribs and the side body today a little bit. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, we're going to go with a kind of conventional stretch here. While we're on our backs, we want to go with a hand to big toe variant. We are going to use a strap for this one. And everybody knows this one. It's a pretty standard. We're lying on our backs. I'm going to stretch my right side. So I'm taking the strap around the balls of my feet. Not the arch, not the middle of the foot, but just underneath the toes. And then notice that I have my hands walked as far up toward my foot as my body wants to go. My arms are straight. So I have no slack in my strap, my stretching strap. And I have no bend in my elbows. I'm going to take a look here. Yeah, so everybody, yeah, good. You look great. Everybody's got straight arms and there's no slack in their strap. So here's how we activate this stretch. You want to draw your shoulder blades down onto the floor. Another way of saying that is open your chest. And also move your shoulders away from your ears. Woo-wee. Breathe into those now open spaces. You can direct your breath into your calf, and I'm going to attempt to show you how. You're going to direct the breath into not just the belly, but you're going to try to force your breath into your lower back. It's pretty easy because you're on the floor. So imagine when you take an in-breath, you can feel your lower back spread onto the floor if you're taking a really deep breath. And when you do that, because you have structure in this stretch, on your in-breath, you're going to feel this stretch deepen a little bit. Can you pull your toes toward your body? Can you reach your heels toward the ceiling a little bit more? What happens if you do the same exact thing with your left foot? Yeah, a lot of you are already doing that. I commend you. Good. Here's a big one, and it's kind of an odd variation. Right leg stretch. What happens when you're reaching that right sitting bone, your right butt bone, toward the foot of your mat? So you're trying to open your right side a little bit here. Yeah. Simpler way of saying that is just reach your hip away from you on your stretching side. Good. Let's do this. Slowly, internally and externally rotate. So your legs stay straight, but your whole leg is rotating, and your toes are basically tick-tocking from the 11 o'clock to the 1 o'clock position. Your foot isn't moving. It's right in front of you. Tick, tock. Beautiful. Everyone's got it right. I'm going to show you here, Allison. I think this would be the best way to demonstrate. So my foot remains in front of me, but I'm just externally rotating my whole leg, and I'm internally rotating my leg. My toes are going 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Maybe you have a bend in your elbows now. Maybe there's some slack in your line because you've loosened up these tissues, these lines. So yeah, just reassert the stretch a little bit more while we just take 1 or 2 more breaths here. Beautiful, everyone. Milen, can you do the same thing with your kneecap that you're doing with your foot? Because I think you're just moving through your ankle there. Yeah, now we're cooking with gas. Yep. And then release it and shake it off. So before we go to the other side, I'm going to demo one more time. Take a look at me here, everyone, if you can. I'm going to use the tennis ball to demonstrate what my kneecap is because I have black tights on. So if I'm holding on the strap, what we were just doing is we were not just turning the foot, right? That's the end result. We're turning the whole leg. So the kneecap is also rotating in, ideally, the same amount that the foot is. And then when you turn out, the kneecap also turns out. We're turning the whole leg in the hip socket. Hee-haw. Make sense, everyone? Yeah? Okay, we're gonna go other side, left leg now, for most of us. Mom, I think you're doing right leg, or you did both already. Yeah, you did both. So do both again. Yeah, go to the other side. Yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. Excellent, everyone. Strap on foot. And remember, we're going with the balls of the foot. We're not going with the arch. Just see how that leg is feeling first before we make any real attempt to deepen the stretch. We want to eliminate any slack in our strap or bend in our elbows. And then once you feel like you're in a pretty good base position, we activate the stretch by drawing the shoulders down the back, away from the ears, and onto the floor. Keep the chin tucked and the neck long. And then we're going to reach our heel toward the ceiling and our toes toward our body. And then finally, I'm reaching my hip toward the foot of the mat. Good. My left hip, that's my stretching hip right now, toward the foot of the mat. Directing my breath into my belly and my low back helps deepen this stretch for me. On the inhale, and then we'll bring in that tick-tocking of the foot, this internal and external rotation of the leg in the hip. And so it's very easy to just rotate at the foot. Try to get the whole leg as one unit rotating. Maybe also noticing if you have more range of motion available on one side than another. That's pretty common. Beautiful, everyone. And then when you're ready to release it, release it. Soles of feet flat on the floor. Again, with that nice windshield wiper just to release that deep stretch we just did. Oh, sweet. Okay. So I know that we all have a segment of wall available to us here. Looks like you do, Mom, right? Allison, you do? Yeah. Sweet. All right, this is one that I want to demo first, if you don't mind. I'll try to make it pretty quick here. We want to basically do a version of a spine roll. I call it spine segmentation. And then we're going to try our hand at a little bit of spinal traction, okay? Just creating a little bit of length in the spine. And then I want to work on a sacrum reset, which works for about 50% of people. So that'll be an interesting thing to see what we get in terms of results. So this is all coming from a legs up the wall variation. Make sure you keep watching here. I picked this spot because I have this nook. So I'm going with, we're going to start with Viparita Karani, right? Which is just legs up the wall. And we're just going to see how our spine once again interfaces with the ground, noticing if there's any compression or any weirdness going on in anywhere in the spine. Okay. Then we're going to have some distance between our bum and the wall, maybe about a foot of distance. And then watch what I do here, okay? I'm going to press my hips up. We're going to start at the tailbone and we're going to try to roll the spine up vertebra by vertebra. And what's great about this is the ground is giving you feedback. You can feel each vertebra on the floor, and you can also feel if you're skipping vertebra. And then you're using your legs so you know what your end range is. Maybe you could do full shoulder stand on the wall with your feet. Chin is tucked, right? But what's real important here is the roll down. You want to slowly, using your legs and flexing your spine with your abdominals, roll one vertebra at a time on the ground as you try to lengthen your spine all the way down to your tailbone. And we're going to do that like nice and slow. Does that make sense? It's a hip bridge on the wall, but first we're starting with Viparita Karani. All right, that's legs up the wall. Yeah. Oh, you got a door, Mom. Ooh, you got a wall and a door.
Adam, I swear I was listening, but where, when the legs are up the wall, where's the butt? Is it a foot out?
For now, for Viparita Karani, maybe like a fist distance from the wall.
Okay, and then it will push back.
Yeah, and then we'll push back. But for now, I just want your spine to lay flat on the floor here. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So on days where I'm sitting and editing a lot of videos, when I do Viparita Karani, I feel like my thoracic spine, it needs some deep breaths in order for it to be able to be flat on the floor. Breathe into the rib cage, so you're trying to spread your rib cage onto the floor on the inhale. Good. So this is posterior lateral breathing, right? This is breathing through the side ribs, front ribs, and back from our legs up the wall position. So we're just taking stock of what's happening here. Here's another good question, everybody. When you're laying in this position, do you feel like you're reaching with your chin toward the ceiling? Maybe like the back of your neck is bunched up. Can you not only tuck your chin, but crawl the back of your head on the floor to lengthen the back of the neck? Good. All right, after one or two more breaths, just to get a sense of how the body's laying on the floor, you're just gonna scoot yourself back so that you can estimate something like a foot or just under a foot of distance between your bum and the wall. Let's bend our knees at first to a 90 degree or a little bit past 90 degree. Good. Now this is just a hip bridge, all right? Your arms are on the floor for this, helping you not slide. And then you're gonna push your feet into the wall and lift the tip of your tailbone off the floor. And then after the tailbone lifts, the sacrum lifts off and the low back starts to peel off the floor slowly. The thoracic spine starts to peel off the floor. Upper thoracic spine. And so maybe this is where you're at right here. You really feel like your lower abdominals are curling and you feel like you're just under the shoulder blades in terms of where you're connected to the floor. That's good. Let's roll down just as slow, but imagining that vertebra by vertebra, you're elongating your spine on the floor toward the wall. Breathe deeply into this. And we're working on just lying down each vertebra with a little more space than they had prior. Okay, let's try to press our pelvis up a little bit higher than last time. Again, we're tucking the tailbone, we're tucking the pelvis as we press the feet into the wall. So this is a real rounding of the spine as we lift vertebra by vertebra, the spine off the floor. Now to come up higher, here's what you can do. Lift your heels off the wall. And you're pressing the balls of your feet into the floor to lift yourself maybe a little higher than the last time. Chin is tucked and the neck is long. One deep breath at your highest position here. And then exhale once again, slowly, vertebra by vertebra, placing the spine down onto the floor. Feel each vertebra on the way down. I'm going to check in with everybody. Can you give me a thumb if you know what we're doing here? A thumb up. Cool. All right. I'm so glad to hear that. Good. So let's do that one more time now. Okay. We're trying to go for our highest. Almost a shoulder stand, but not quite. Right? We're not putting a ton of pressure on the neck here. Maybe the highest you end up is with your upper back on the floor. Okay. If you're going for that. Good. So what's most important here is that your spine rolling up first. And then wherever you end up in your highest position, that's fine. But from whatever your highest position is, now we're laying the spine onto the floor from the top down. So Milen, you got a ways to go. You got to really slowly concave out your chest because you're so high up. Yeah, round out through the upper spine. That's beautiful. Now keep that same exact intention on the way down. Good. Breathing deeply, rounding the thoracic spine, rounding the low back, Milen. Yeah, fantastic. So did anyone feel a little tiny bit of tractioning or lengthening action in the spine, especially on the way down? Yeah? Okay, gang, good. I want to continue to work on our tractioning of the spine. And so we're in a really good position to continue, and I'm going to try to cue you through it. So we all have our knees bent, our feet on the wall. And we've already done a little bit of gentle tractioning of the spine from these spine rolls. Maybe scoot yourself back a tiny bit further than you are currently. So maybe you're 1.5 feet from the wall. Everybody, you're going to place the palms of your hands as deep into your hip creases as you can. That is where your thighs meet your pelvis or your hips. You want to get the palms of your hands deep into those hip creases. Once you've done that, before you do anything else, try to relax your abdominals as much as you can. Relax your back muscles as much as you can. And then you're going to press your hip creases into, or press your palms into your hip creases, keeping relaxed all through the torso. While you're doing that, everybody tuck your chin and lengthen your neck along the floor. Then breathe deeply into wherever you might feel some traction or lengthening in the spine. To go even deeper, you can gently press the back of your head into the floor, but keep your chin tucked. If you're feeling some stretching on the borders of your spine, gently breathe into those spaces to reclaim them. And then when you're ready to release the hands from the legs. Bring the feet down to the floor and just windshield wiper left to right. How did that go for us? Did we get a little more length there? I find that that's really nice for folks with some low back tightness, right? A little compression in the low back. This is really good. I want to move into our sacrum reset, which is a real goodie here, and it works after we've lengthened through some of the compressed spine. I'm going to demonstrate for this one. We're going to move away from the wall for this. Have a block or a ball or a rolled up towel on hand for this. We're then going to lie on our back and bring our legs into a tabletop position, right? This 90-degree position. Now get this. I'm going to use my hands to resist as one leg pushes forward and the other leg pulls back. So my legs are going to try to do this against my hands. The first time you do that, it's going to feel a little physically confusing. It's a left brain, right brain, pat your belly, rub your head type of deal. But one leg is thrusting forward, the other leg is pulling back against your hands in a stalemate. So this is an isometric. While you're doing this, as hard as you can, you're going to breathe deeply. And try to keep your whole spine on the floor. Chin is tucked, neck is long. 10 more seconds. And then switch sides if you dare. So the leg that was thrusting forward is pulling back, and the leg that was pulling back is thrusting forward. So here we go. We've switched the legs. Woo! If this doesn't feel like some good isometric work, press and pull a little bit harder. And then one more deep breath. Release. Take your block or your ball or your rolled towel and place it between your knees and squeeze. "90-degree in the legs." If any of you felt a crack, a little click, congratulations, you just had a sacrum reset. A little click, probably kind of by the groin, actually. It's a subtle little click. Squeezing, squeezing, squeezing.
Okay, Adam, I
Yeah.
think I missed something. Like, I thought we were supposed to like be on our back and then pushing and like being resistant to our knees. Is that the exercise?
We're pushing against our hands with one leg and pulling with the other. So I was demoing. At
Oh,
first, it's
yeah.
this. So one leg is pulling up against the palm, and then the
Okay.
other leg is pushing forward against the palm, like it's trying to do this.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
But how do you hold your hands to be like that? Where does your hand go to reverse? Like, where's your hand? The one that wants to go out. How are you preventing it from going out?
One palm goes behind your leg.
Oh,
To
okay. I
prevent
didn't
it
get
forward.
that part.
No
Okay,
problem. Yeah, and then the
goes
other one goes on top of your knee.
I
Yeah.
got it. Okay, thanks.
Yep. No problem. And then once you've squeezed the ball for a good few breaths, release it and windshield wiper the knees. And so if you didn't click, didn't mean that you didn't get a reset. All we did there is really work on reconnecting to the muscles that tend to weaken and leave and kind of lead to instability in the sacrum. The adductors, right? That's the inner thighs, the hamstrings, and the hip flexors there. Okay, good. All right, so now we're going to go into a side lying position, okay? This is where a rolled towel or a block or a ball would definitely come in handy. If you're using a rolled towel, I'm going to demonstrate what you're using it for first, and it'll make sense about how you want to roll it. We're using this prop to keep our head in a neutral position as we lie on our side. So if you're using a block, I would go with a more narrow angle. So let's all lie on our right side for this. We're lying on our right side for this. Excellent. And then the ball is going to go on our ground side. So that's going to be, if you're lying on your right side, it's going to go between your right arm and the right side of your head. You can use your top arm to stabilize here. But what I want you to try to do is organize yourself so that your body is stacked. Good. You got your feet stacked over each other, your ankles, knees, hips, shoulders. Good. And we're just passively lying here on our right side, just so we could sense how our body once again is interfacing with the floor. Inhale to try to breathe into the ground side ribs. That's the right side ribs. Good. And this side lying position is an excellent position to stage both of our twists. So we're going to go first with a spine twist. Everybody just take note of your left leg. That's your top leg. Your left leg's going to come in front of you in a 90-degree to begin with. I'm going to take the ball out or the block out from between my arm and my head here for this twist. You might want to do the same too. Now, before we go any further into the twist, we've got a great opportunity here. So if you're looking at me, you can see I'm walking my fingers along the floor a little bit to try to get my hand further away from my body. And then I'm going to inch my foot away from me a little bit more, just to really lengthen the right side of my body here as much as I can. It's a real subtle action, but we're just trying to make our right side a little tiny bit longer, 1/16 of an inch longer on the floor. Now, once you've done that, then what we can start to do is open the left side out and the twist. What I would like you to do though, please, is keep your left knee, that's your bent knee, on the floor. So we're limiting how much your spine can actually twist. You can bring your right arm out to the side instead of under your head, but just really remind yourself, if the knee starts to float off the floor, just bring it back down onto the floor. What we're trying to do here is let the breath slowly let our body sink into this twist on the floor. Bonus points if you can reach your right leg, that's your straight leg, away from you while you're in this deep twist. I'm going to scoot forward a little bit because the wall is in the way. I'm using my right hand to kind of keep my left knee on the ground. Everybody, maybe you can turn your head in the direction of your left hand so that you're getting your whole spine involved in this twist. Okay, one big cue here now. You're going to reach your left knee away from your left hand and your left hand away from your left knee. It's a subtle action. Do it gently and smoothly, but this will help deepen your twist a little bit. This adds a little bit of, for lack of better words, effort into this. We're using the abdominals to help deepen this twist as well. And then after one more breath, return to center, everyone. Good. So right now we still have our top knee bent in front of us, right? That's our left knee. Watch what I'm doing here. I'm gonna switch legs. So my left knee, I'm lying on my right side, my left knee is bent. I'm gonna stay on my right side, everyone. But now my right knee is coming forward. Yeah, my right knee is coming forward and my left leg is coming back behind me. I'll show you from another angle. I'm still on my right side, but my right leg is forward and my left leg is going back behind me as much as it can. Good. So here is where things get a little bit tricky. Already, if your sides are tight, just by bending your right knee forward and your left leg straightening it back behind you, you might feel a stretch in your hips or in your sides. We're going to deepen that a little bit more now. You're going to reach your left hand overhead actively away from your left foot. You're going to reach your left foot away from your left hand behind you. This is like pretty subtle stuff here. So the whole body has to be active. The left leg has to be strong and straight, reaching behind you. You can put your left foot on the ground. You're lengthening the whole left side of your body, spreading your left rib cage, and then reaching your left hand away from the left foot. And then, once you've reached as far as you can, you're breathing into the belly and the ribs. If you want to go a little further, you could try straightening your right leg. Just a little more challenging. If you want to feel a little bit more stretch, try to keep the hips stacked as much as you can instead of letting the left hip fall back while you're in this deep stretch. And then release the body, come out of it. You can roll onto your back and windshield wiper your knees. The psoas muscles are a real devil to reach in stretching. So we have our chair psoas stretch, and then the second twist that we did here, that we just finished, that's one of the other ways that you can kind of get the whole psoas, but everything has to be perfectly in line. So let's try it on the other side now. We're going to roll onto our left side into our left side lying pose. Again, we're using a ball or a towel or a block just to help keep our head in neutral. And the purpose of just lying here is getting a sense of how our body responds to the pressure of the floor. You'll notice if you have some compression in your ribs when you lie on your side. Even while you're here, you can try to make the left side of your body, that's your floor side of your body, longer. And again, that's just by walking the hands along the floor and walking the foot along the floor. This is a battle that's kind of 1 16th inches. Good. Breathe as deeply as you can into the rib cage and into the back and into your floor side ribs. Good. One more deep breath as you spread the left side ribs as much as you possibly can. Good. And then I'm going to remove my prop. My head's gonna, my upper spine's gonna fall out of neutral a little bit for this, and that's okay. I'm resting my head on my shoulder now. My right knee is my bent knee. It's coming forward. Walk your left leg along the floor behind you a little bit, just to get the legs in good alignment. And then now actually I'm going to use my left hand just to keep my right knee disciplined on the floor, everyone. So this is our foundation, all right? It's going to not allow you to twist as much as you want to, but that's okay. The breath is going to take us a little deeper here. I'm going to scoot forward again just a little bit, just so I can extend. And so again, there's a couple things when you're here. Yes, we're twisting, right? And we're letting gravity let the tissues of the body deepen in this twist. But we're also using our integrity, right? Putting energy in that right arm, keeping that left knee connected to the ground. We're using structure to help lengthen all of the tissues here. Breathe into the back ribs on your right side. While you're twisting, think about making your body longer on your left side. Maybe you can walk your left foot a little bit further toward the foot of your mat and lengthen your spine through the crown of your head. Is your right knee on the floor? You shouldn't be able to slide a credit card under there. And then while you're here, just make sure that you're taking your head into this twist also by directing your gaze toward your right hand. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to reach the right hand away from the right knee and reach the right knee away from the right hand in oppositional directions, oppositional reach. Just to find a little more space in this twist. And then if you find a little more space in this twist, just working to reclaim some of that space with deep breath. Beautiful. Inhale, exhale. Come out of that twist. So this is really upper spinal twist. We're going to switch now our legs. So now my left knee, as I scoot back, my left knee is the bent knee and it's in front of me. My right leg is no longer bent, it's straight and it's reaching behind me. It may not reach behind me a whole lot here, guys, right? It might just be maybe just a couple of inches behind me. But what's important is that it's straight and you can put your foot on the floor or at least get somewhere close to the floor with your foot. Good. Now, before we bring the arm overhead, let's just first try to get that stretch in the hip or stretch in low back. So you're reaching that foot away. And it's going to be subtle because in order to really get here, the arm has to participate, but you're going to feel that that right side just cues up, it tightens, it tauts up a little bit when you bring your right leg behind you. Once you feel that, then you bring the right arm overhead and work on opening the right ribs as much as you can, reaching right hand in this direction overhead while you reach your right foot this way toward the foot of your mat. I'm breathing into my top side ribs, my right side ribs. I'm kicking the bolster out of the way. It's in the way of my foot. And so the whole idea here is this whole side, the right side of the body is opening a little bit. This whole line from the right fingers to the right heel. Spreading the ribs on the right side with the breath. And for the last 1 or 2 breaths, you can take your shoulder off your rib cage now. So lift your shoulder away from your body. Stretch the armpit. And then bring your arm down to your side. I'm going to have you roll onto your backs here. Good. And I want to demo something. Pigeon position is a tricky one for a lot of folks. People say that pigeon bothers them. I'll demonstrate pigeon. Right? And there's so many versions of pigeon that absolutely have a right to bother people, you know. So I'm not saying that they're wrong to say that pigeon, you know, is bothering them because they have a knee or they have a low back. But the thing that really gets folks in pigeon position is actually the entrance. Trying to get in the pigeon position is what makes people feel uncomfortable. And then once they get into it, they feel great, you know. And so I just want to show you a really kind of clever way to get in a pigeon and sensible way to get in a pigeon, because we're going to attempt to get in a pigeon. So I'm going to have my right leg forward in this pigeon. And what I'm doing is I'm starting on my back, okay? And so if you don't like this position, or if you're new to this position, I'm going to show you how to get into it safely. 90-degree, my right leg, my front leg. I'm rolling to my right side. I'm keeping my knee close to my body, and I'm keeping my foot flexed, my bent knee foot flexed. Why? When you flex the foot, that engages the tibialis, that's the front of the shin muscle, and it stabilizes the knee, okay? Flexing the foot helps stabilize the knee. So I'm rolling from my back onto my hip, onto the side of my leg, keeping my leg bent, my foot flexed. And then I'm keeping my whole calf and the whole side of my leg on the ground all the way to my glute. And I'm just closing my left hip here like a door on a hinge. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. Yeah, okay, cool.
I missed the closing the, because I couldn't see it because I was down
Oh,
here. The closing
yeah,
the,
sure.
like a hinge.
Yeah. So the hinge is my right hip. Watch this, okay? I'm in position, my foot is flexed. Now watch. Here's the outside of the door. Here's the hinge.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
See that? Yeah. And then if you want to go deeper, then you could advance by trying to bring the shin perpendicular to your body. But to me, it's more important that you have energy in the leg. Now, the back leg, just like our lunge, everybody, the back leg is our work leg. So stay laying on your front leg, that's your right leg, but try to reach your left leg back further. So I'm using the top of my foot and I'm kind of walking it away from me a little bit. Good. Paradoxically, can you draw your left hip a little bit more forward, even though you're reaching your left foot away from you? Good. Breathe into your right hip. That's your stretching hip. Good. Good. And now let's focus on the upper body a little bit. Okay. Let's just keep our elbows, if your arms are bent like mine are, elbows under shoulders, shoulders down the back, chin tucked, neck long. Just so we have some structure in the upper spine. Keeping that structure, you can fall over your front leg for 1 or 2 more breaths. And then really fun way of coming out of it is reversing the same way we came in. So just gently rolling onto your back from there. Good. I have to break dance a little bit so that you can see me. My left knee is bending tabletop position. Good. And then from here, I'm rolling onto my left side. My left knee is bent. My left foot is flexed. I'm keeping that structure on my left foot. And then again, my right hip is closing over my left leg. A fun thing to note would be noticing how much more mobile one side is versus the other. And for here, we can just lie our body over our left leg while we settle into this position. Now, if you do have a block and you want to rest your head on the block, that will give you a little bit more ergonomic position. Now we can start to add structure by hugging our kneecap onto our back leg, reaching that right foot, that's our back foot, away from us, while drawing the right hip forward. Start connecting to the upper back muscles and making the neck long from wherever you are. And you can even press your left leg into the floor to open the left hip a little bit more, or create a deeper sense of opening, I should say. See if you can go a little bit deeper into this pigeon, not too much deeper. We're not forcing things, but just see if you made a little bit more space available. Breathe into that space for 1 or 2 more breaths. Draw that kneecap up one more time into the leg, and then relax. And gently, slowly roll over onto the left side and then onto the back. Oh, wee. If I'm the only one walking away from that feeling really good, I'm sorry. But that felt outstanding. One last thing before we wrap it up. It's a short one. Since we've really focused on stretching through the ribs and stretching through the spine, I want to get some spine extension. Since we created space, I want to build some integrity. So this is where the foam roller comes in, or a towel. Now, I just grabbed a placemat because that's the only thing that was in reach for me, yeah? I'm going to demonstrate the roller first. This is a front lying position. So first you're going to rest your head on the floor. If you're using a roller, you're going to bring your arms up onto the roller, which is above your head. And I have my hands or my arms on the roller. I'd say just a couple of inches above my wrists, where my wrist crease are. Right about here is where the foam roller is. If you can see me from here, right about here, yeah. So just a couple inches above the hands. Now, my chin is tucked, my neck is long, and my legs are strong. My arms are going to stay straight. My shoulders are going to stay down my back. I'm going to press my arms into the foam roller, and I'm going to peel my spine off the ground until I get to my ribs. Notice how my chin is tucked and my neck is long. So this is spinal extension, but it's a pretty moderate spine extension. I'm not really forcing anything. I'm actually using my arms straight and strong on the foam roller to help me in this. And then I'm going to exhale, and I'm going to lie one vertebra, or one rib, I should say, at a time, back down onto the mat till I get to my head. And I'm going to let you play with this at your own pace. Maybe you can lift yourself past your ribs a little bit, but keep your core connected. Chin tucked, neck long, and then exhale down, one rib at a time. Now for the mom, if everyone has a foam roller and you're doing that, you can start playing with that now. So mom, you can use a towel. I'm using the placemat here. And you would put your palms on the towel. Your wrists are straight. Your palms are on the ground. And then you press your palms into the floor. And it's the same thing. You're keeping your chin tucked and your neck long. And you're just extending the upper spine up. And then you're rolling down rib by rib. Your head is the last thing to come down. Then you peel.
I'm using the
ground.
noodle.
Oh, you are? Okay, good.
I'm using the noodle, honey.
Oh, perfect. That noodle's awesome.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome. Okay, so I'm watching everyone now. Everyone looks good. Everyone's boogieing. Good.
Uno más.
Yeah, what's up, Mama? Of course.
One more time.
Oh, you want to see one more time? Gotcha, gotcha.
Real quick.
Yeah, here. So I'm doing this, or Lifting the head, then you're peeling the collarbone, which is your first rib. And then you're peeling one rib at a time off the mat, but it's basically spine extension. Your neck is long. And then you're lowering down one rib at a time. And then your chin, nose, forehead. If you can keep your arms straight, your arms can help you in that. So you have some real control there through that extension and lowering down. This takes a little bit of imagination, but imagine you're making your upper spine longer as you lower yourself down onto the ground. Once you feel like you've done enough and you really feel some nice action and warmth in the upper spine, then a shell pose or a child's pose is a good next step. But what you're really looking for is that nice opportunity to feel some length in the upper spine, feel some energy in the upper back. Yeah. A little bit of core work even here too. Beautiful, everyone. And then from there, once you're done, wherever you are, I'm going to have you lie on your side. Just a gentle side lying position. Your head will rest on your arm. Your knees will stack, your hips will stack. You can bring your top arm forward or on your body, whatever just feels natural to you. Just take about 3 deep breaths through the middle back. Feel everything spread. Feel the shirt tighten on your back. And then I want you, almost as if you've never done it slower in your entire life, I want you to very slowly and consciously roll millimeter by millimeter onto your back. And as you're doing that, slowly transition onto your right side. So this is a super slow roll, from your right side to your back to your left side, or vice versa. Slowly scan and notice where there's resistance or where you feel that compression. Notice where there might be some physical cobwebs as you roll. This is an inventory taking practice. Yeah. Oh.
I think they're just finishing up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is a weird shavasana. Let him know. Breathing in this slow transition. You guys are awesome. Are you mostly using your legs? This is just questions. It's not a judgment thing. Are you using your arms? Back muscles or core muscles? Is your head moving first? And you will know that you're done when you've rolled to the opposite side from whence you started. But there's no rush. And then when you're on that opposite side, it's a generally safe assumption that that is not your favorite side to lie on. Otherwise, you would have lied on it to begin with, unless it was a camera angle thing. That being said, just notice how your body feels on this side. Again, noticing where there's compression or noticing where there's lightness, noticing where there's resistance or discord, and then breathing into that space. And slowly, once you're there, press yourself up to a seated position. Yeah. But there's no rush. And then once you're seated, just take some breaths. We're about to wrap it up, but I don't want anyone to rush out from this very conscious work they just did. Good.